everyone, I'm here with Crystal, and I'm Mark, and this is the Mark for Glory podcast, season 2. We'd like to say episode 32, but honestly, I made a mistake. And this was uploaded, or recorded rather, much earlier, maybe like a month or two ago, and I forgot to upload it. So we're doing that now, and we're going to be talking with Faith Louise Cooper about her journey with Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome and much more.
Hi, Faith. How's it going?
It's going well, Mark.
That's good to hear. I'm wondering if you can start by telling people a bit about your early life and how that went and what led up to your diagnosis.
I am the oldest of 3, and I was originally about 12 years old. I started to have pain in the morning in my left ankle, and it continued to be in the morning and then go away as the day went on. And then later on, I actually tripped playing kickball, and it flared it up so that I was in pain all day. X-ray showed it wasn't a break or a sprain or anything, and I got referred to pediatric rheumatology, where I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, which is now juvenile idiopathic arthritis. I fast forward a couple of years, I was then later diagnosed with hypermobility syndrome. I went for numbness in my hands and tingling, and they noticed I was very hypomobile, and I didn't meet the requirements of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome at that time because I was missing one key element, is that I didn't have a sibling. I didn't have a family member with that. After my sister was diagnosed and I moved around, I got reevaluated and diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome 2 years later. So it was a 27-year process between first signs of symptoms and a final Ehlers-Danlos syndrome diagnosis. But the juvenile arthritis is either connected to it or a misdiagnosis. We don't know which one. Some doctors treat it as if I have juvenile arthritis, and some doctors treat it as if I don't. So I'm not quite sure.
That's the reality, but most chronic illness, what most people who go through chronic illness, it's a real struggle to get a definitive diagnosis. And then even if we do have one, nobody's really sure what the answer is, or sometimes even what the right questions to ask her. So tell us more about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a genetic disease that's a defect of your collagen, which is your connective tissue, which is in every single part of the body. So the collagen that our body produces is not 100% functional like it is in a normal person. It's like taking your building blocks, like if you were to connect, it's like using Scotch tape instead of your Gorilla Glue in building of a structure.
So given that, most of these chronic conditions are somewhat unknown, how do you recommend, or how have you dealt with the unknown, or how do you how do you recommend people deal with that?
Well, one thing is not to give up on finding answers we find we need to be advocates for ourselves. So we really need to understand our own body and be able to do research on proper medical sites like WebMD, not just Google, WebMD, Mayo Clinic, but to be persistent when you have a condition that or a symptom that's not being addressed, to keep bringing it up to your doctor and ask for a particular test to be done or things to be rolled out. And if they're not going to do the test, to have them document that they're refusing a test. It tends to allow them to be pushed, but to be persistent and to find your support group, because you cannot do this alone. You really do need need a support system to help, because it is both physically and it becomes an emotional drain as well, fighting for answer. Once you have an answer, there's support groups out there on Facebook and other places. In fact, I have a Facebook group for support for those with chronic conditions and their families that I have created out of my discovery of going through all of high school, middle school, not knowing anybody with the condition and feeling very isolated because of that.
Why do you think it's important for people to find those communities of other people like them?
It's important because if you have someone who's been for you, they will know sometimes which doctors to go to, which ones work, which ones don't. I know in one of our groups, we have a list of doctors that I've found. Well, because some doctors still don't see Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, or they don't want to address it because it is complicated and hits every single system, but they understand exactly what you're going through. If they're ahead of you, they can help you with the process of it, and just feeling like you're not alone, that you aren't crazy for having the symptoms that you're going through, and that it isn't all in your head.
I think that's a very good point you bring up there. So, like, I know that you coach or help families of people with chronic illnesses sort of rebuild their relationship and help support each other. How can friends and family better, because obviously they don't have whatever condition themselves. It's hard for them to maybe understand as loving and supportive as they might be. How do you recommend they get started on that journey?
For support with families supporting those with chronic conditions is to ask questions of like, well, how do you feel? And sometimes they just need someone to listen to you, and not to question or give advice. Sometimes that's one of the best things, is not always giving advice, but also looking to see where you can offer, like not just offer, can I help, but particular ways to help. The other thing I find important with families is to make sure you're taking care of yourself and your own self-care, and not to get overlooked or let yourself be overlooked because of the focus of those are chronic conditions, because you could end up being worn out yourself with a chronic, when you don't address your own self-care, and family members like siblings could end up being overlooked, and that will lead to other issues mentally going down, and your mental health does affect your physical health.
And that's certainly true. And what lifestyle changes can people make? Can people make to help with their diagnosis, or even to prevent some of these mental and or physical chronic illnesses from going on?
One thing that is I find is that those families with chronic conditions and those with chronic conditions deal with a lot more added stress from the chronic condition and maintaining it. So working on setting boundaries in your life on what you can and cannot do, or will or will not do. No is a complete sentence. So setting those boundaries to say, like, set your hard set bedtime so you get your rest. Set and say, okay, I will get together with people so I don't run out of spoons or energy I'll 1 or 2 hours, and then after that I need to rest. So the set boundaries on what your abilities are. For nutrition can help with both your emotional and physical health. Eating a healthy plant-based diet is important. To make sure you're eating whole, unprocessed food, meaning foods that nothing good's been taken out of, and nothing's been added to it. So food and nutrition, and getting outside and moving 30 minutes, it'll help keep you loose and do what you can exercise, but also being outside is proven that has a positive benefit. So there are little things, and just one change can make a difference. I've recently learned about simple things like opening your windows to help with removing toxins from your house.
And many people with chronic conditions and even their friends and family undergo a fair amount of stress and anxiety. How do you recommend that people address those issues?
Stress and anxiety, that's one of the reasons it's good to have a support group to talk through things. Make sure you're doing something. Proper sleep, you're getting your 8 hours of sleep will help you not overact or your brain get too tired and get into that stress or anxiety mode. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is recommended. Another thing is there's an acronym, please. Make sure you're taking care of your physical health, eating right, exercising, and doing something that is pleasurable and enjoyable to do, and to be proactive about eliminating stress, not stressing over things that don't need to be stressed. So that's why boundaries are important as well.
I understand you also do a bit of coaching. Where can people reach you if they want to get some help with issues that they're facing?
I can be found on Facebook at Beyond Empowerment Services, and I have a free Facebook group. You can connect with me. It's called Exploring the Beyond, living with chronic conditions and chronic pain to the fullest. And I am on LinkedIn as well as I'll provide a link to Mark. You can set up a time to have a 30-minute re-energizing, de-stressing chat with me. And that can be found on my website, link beyondempowermentservices.com.
And are there any things that you're working on that people can look out for?
I am currently working on several de-energizing program, but also a program on rediscovering yourself after a chronic condition and loving yourself, loving your unique identity stripes. And I'm also going to be speaking at the Ability Expo in December down in Dallas. So if you're going there, I'm doing a workshop on Is Your Lifestyle Giving You Gas? About stress management. Come by, say hi, come join me at the workshop as well. And I'm going to be hopefully starting a a YouTube channel soon.
That's great. Well, thank you, Faith, for taking this time to chat with me, and have a great day.
Thanks. Have a great.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.